So, H.P. Lovecraft, fiction or occult scientist, which tapped into something that most of us cannot, and saw something particular to his mission in this world. Now, H.P. Lovecraft was, by his own definition, a science fiction writer. One who, according to some, dreamed a whole entire universe and relationships between different gods and deities, and dreamed also the different dimensions between ours and other realms. Many people think that he basically made all this up himself, and people added on to it, and that he was just a great writer. But there are many of us who also believe that Lovecraft tapped into something primordial, something beyond himself, that his mind and his brain didn't come up with all of this, but tapped into something that isn't within us all. The madness and fear that comes from what we were. Maybe before we even evolved into human beings, when we were aquatic. He taps into those primordial forces that are still in our blood, that are still in our subconscious. And a lot of Lovecraft's work is very much dealing with things in our subconscious, but I don't think that it's only subconscious. I think that a lot of Lovecraft's work deal with things that actually exist, and the rest is dealing with the subconscious fears, anguish, pain, forgotten history of our lineages, and who we once were before we were human. Now, Lovecraft Tales, I would highly recommend this book if you're looking for a book of comprehensive Cthulhu mythos tales that basically includes them all that you need to know about Lovecraft's work. It's about $16-17 on Amazon. I got the flexi version, which is like a new kind of fabric they put on books sometimes. Not a fabric, but a material. But this one is called Cthulhu Mythos Tales by H.P. Lovecraft, and it has them all in it. You can buy this on Amazon. And a few of the tales that are included in this book are The Nameless City. I really love that one. It talks about an ancient city that is beneath the surface of the Middle East. Somewhere in the Middle East, not really, it doesn't specify. And once these people lived on or we can call them people for the sake of this, lived on the surface, on the edge of an ocean, basically, and had a great life. Were very scientifically intelligent, were very spiritual, and had their own kind of pantheon, and were very civilized. And as the sea receded and the Middle East became more of a desert somewhere in the Middle East, they withdrew into the ground where there was moisture and where they could survive off of fungus and in the interior of the earth. But they became different kinds of beings. They became more hateful of all those up top. They became more primal. They became more animalistic, even though these beings are described as being animals, different combinations of animals, in fact. Now, to what degree this is true, I don't know. It could just be symbols for things in our subconscious, or it could harken back to a memory that's in our very gene pool of what we once were before we were human. And this apparently happened far before recorded history, much further before, but the exact time is not clear. Another tale is The Hound, and that talks about kind of ghostly, huge hound that pursues anybody who disturbs a certain amulet. It hints at certain magics and certain demonic presences. The Call of Cthulhu, that one is dealing purely with Cthulhu and his city of Riley, where he supposedly sleeps, and how he is awakened by these sailors who happen upon the shores of Riley. And the entire landscape in the Call of Cthulhu is like the ocean floor is turned upside down and everything's exposed. And all these ancient things that once existed, and all these ancient bones and this material and this landscape itself is shown. And of course there is the festival where because of a man's heritage, he was called, and this happens every once 100 years in the story, to this festival in a New England town where everyone celebrates Yuletide below this church, far below, steps leading down, and they celebrate the Yuletide, but also very much worship the old ones, though it's not proclaimed in that particular story, which is the festival. And this man is led into they attempt to lead him into service, into delving into the deep secrets of the earth, where there are chambers and tunnels where unheard of beings live, and the secrets will be divulged to you if you go down there. But he tries to escape, and he does. But there are many stories within this book, within the Cthulhu mythos, that I highly recommend just trying to even just understand the subconscious, even if you don't believe in anything Lovecraft ever said as being literal in any way. Trying to understand the subconscious, understand fear, understand anger, understand ecstasy, and understand violence, understand pleasure and pain. A lot of what he did deals with these things. And these things seem universal, but Lovecraft captured them in a very particular way, a very once again, I'm using this word a lot, primal, basic, foundational way to what is at the bottom of what we think. Not necessarily what we strive toward, but what is the foundation for everything that we strive toward, or what we build off of. And this is why Lovecraft is a really master author or an occult scientist, depending on how you view him. I think he's a little of both. I think that he did tap into a strain of who we once were and what still exists within us, and a very important energy current that exists in the universe of ancient and titanic, very much like the Greek Titans, deities that are alien, that don't seem very similar to humanity at all, and exist far away from us. But there is some here, like Cthulhu, who sleep and wait for a time when they can reign again upon Earth. But most of these ancient one gods, who challenge the elder gods, which the elder gods are newer, and the elder gods won recently, defeated Tiamat, created the rings around Saturn by destroying Tiamat, which is her physical representation in this material realm, was the moon that was around Saturn until it was destroyed in the battle with Marduk and the elder gods, the ones that are far away but look and watch over humanity and try to instill order, whereas the ancient ones are the gods of chaos, and they live far, far away, but will be called back from distant stars. There's I think I remember the quote from the supposed author of the Necronomicon, which is a part of this book that I showed you, but very, very religious and spiritual in nature, which is the foundation of all the mythos of the ancient ones, Cthulhu mythos, as well, of course. And it's that the second part of the quote is that, and in stranger aeons, even death may die. A lot of the quotes and understandings in Cthulhu-related tales deal with madness and ideas that are paradoxical, and ones that don't seem to meld into our understanding of ourselves or the universe. But in conclusion, let me go ahead and read from the Necronomicon, and it's the description of Cthulhu. Of all the gods and spirits of abomination, Cthulhu only cannot be summoned, for he is the sleeping lord. The magician cannot hope to have any power over him, but he may be worshipped, and for him the proper sacrifices may be made, so that he will spare thee when he rises to the earth. And the times for the sacrifice are the same times as the sleeping of Marduk, for this is when great Cthulhu moves, and he is the very fire of the earth and power of all magic. When he joins with the abominations of the sky, Tiamat will once more rule the earth, and this is his seal. That is his seal right there. And Cthulhu is the high priest of the ancient ones, the oldest gods, the gods that were in the darkness before the gods of light, like Marduk being their head. The elder gods fought the gods that are the ancient ones, and there are many such descriptions of cosmic beings throughout this, but you get to the ancient ones in the back of the Necronomicon. The first one is basically describing the elder gods and how you deal with the watchers, their guardians basically, and the seals you have to do at what time and what kind of material you use. And then in the back of the book you get to the ancient ones, and it tells you, be warned, don't do this, but here's how you do everything. So the Necronomicon by H.P. Lovecraft is a very interesting book. Many people that I've talked to have said that if you read it, it brings you to madness. And a lot of the time, I think, well, I'm already in madness a little bit, so I'm not too worried about it. And honestly, reading the Necronomicon has not brought me to the edge any more than schizophrenia or other things have. And I think that there's a lot to be learned from the Necronomicon, even if you're just examining the enemy or trying to understand your own version of order and chaos and how they operate. Because this current that H.P. Lovecraft has discovered is one that is universal, is cosmic, and doesn't even pertain just to our galaxy, I think. But that is my view on H.P. Lovecraft and the Necronomicon and the Cthulhu mythos as a whole, Cthulhu being the high priest of the ancient ones. And I'd love to know what you think. This is not a path that I follow per se. I'm very interested in, but it's not the path that I follow. If you have any comments related to disagreeing or agreeing with me, feel free to shoot down in the comment section below. If you like this video at all, even if it made you think a little bit and didn't really surprise you, but just made you think a little bit about order and chaos, which really is what the ancient ones are all about, and the elder gods as well, elder gods being order, then shoot that thumbs up down there. And I really hope to see you in the future in future videos that I have. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the future. From the testimony of the Mad Arab in the Necronomicon. I have traveled on the spheres, and the spheres do not protect me. I have descended into the abyss, and the abyss does not protect me. I have walked to the tops of mountains, and the mountains do not protect me. I have walked the seas, and the seas do not protect me. The lords of the wind rush about me and are angered. The lords of the earth crawl about my feet and are angered. The spirits have forgotten me. My time is shortened, and I must complete as much as I can before I am taken away by the voice that ever calls. The moon's days are numbered upon the earth and the sun's, and I know not the meaning of these omens, but that they are. And the oracles are dried up, and the stars spin in their places, and the heavens look to be uncontrolled with no order, and the spheres are crooked and wandering. That is a section from the Testimony of the Mad Arab, which is near the end of the Necronomicon, and I'll go ahead and flip to a random part of the Necronomicon and read another part, just so I can give you a better sense of the Necronomicon. And a lot of it is things like something that can be coherent. I don't want to just go to a random part and to just not understand it at all. But let's see. Thee I invoke, silver hunter from the sacred city of Ur. Thee I call forth to guard the north place of the most holy Mandal against the vicious warriors of flame from the principalities of Dra. Be thou most vigilant against the Uturki of Tiamat, the oppressors of Ishnigarab, the throne of Azagthoth. Draw thy bow before the fiends of Absul. Loose thy arrow on the hordes of dark angels that beset the beloved of Allah on all sides and in all places. Be watchful, Lord of the North ways. Remember us, King of our homeland, victor of every war, and conqueror over every adversary. See our lights, and hear our heralds, and do not forsake us, Spirit of the North, remember. And perhaps one more, just to give you a better feel for it. Incantations against the Ancient Ones, to be recited each year when the bear hangs from its tail in the heavens. Destructive storms and evil winds are they. An evil blast, herald of the baneful storm, an evil blast, forerunner of the baneful storm They are mighty children, ancient ones, heralds of pestilence, throne-bearers of Ninkigal. They are the flood which rusheth through the land. 7 gods of the broad heavens, 7 gods of the broad earth, 7 ancient ones are they. 7 gods of might, 7 evil gods, 7 evil demons, 7 demons of oppression, 7 in heaven, 7 on earth. Otog zo, ala so, gidim zo, mula so, dingir zo, masikum zo, zi ana kanpa, zi kia kanpa, zi gingil enlil, la lugal, kukur, raje, kanpa. Zi gingil, ninhil, la nin, kukur, raje, kanpa. Zi gingil, ninib, ibila eshala, ge kanpa. Zi gingil, ninin, kukur, raje, kanpa. Gi dingil, e nuna, ningil, galagal, I ne kappa. Zi gingil, ana kappa. Zi gingir, kia kanpa. And of course, that's the incantation at the end that you should recite. This was an attempt to give you a better understanding of the general nature of the Necronomicon. And this will be the end of the video. All of you, look within, find yourselves. Thank you.